Okay, so it's been a while since I did another one of these commentary playthrough things, so bear with me as we venture into Star Wars for the NES, as we're about to bear witness to the opening crawl, which, unfortunately, due to the capabilities of the NES, is unable to do the crawling into the distance, instead just scrolls upwards, which I guess is suitable fare for what it is, I suppose. Yeah, apparently this game got quite a bit of a negative reaction. I don't know why. Or at least that's what Film and Stuff says, the YouTuber guy. By the way, Film and Stuff is one of those guys that I can still watch as far as the angry reviewing style goes. Guy was smart enough never to show his face, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's like he focuses mostly on the game, and the humor comes from his vocal reactions rather than his facials. Unlike some other people in the angry reviewing style that relies more on facials and special effects and a whole bunch of horse shit that really diminishes the reviewing content of stuff. But then again, anyways, it's one of the few angry reviewers whose opinion matter, I suppose, as opposed to those people. So I've been watching his review and I figured, I could do a commentary on this. I was gonna review this, give this a little review thing, but I figured I'd do a commentary instead because like I said, I haven't done one of those. Let's just sit back and watch this 8-bit rendition of the scene that introduced the world to Star Wars back when it was brand new and long before all those evil special editions and DVD re-edits and Blu-ray re-edits and stuff. This game was released in 1991, so this could be based on a special edition of Star Wars that nobody's ever seen before. But it does start off normally. Starts off on Tatooine, where R2 is pretty much, because he's a kind of a dickish droid, has left to search for General Kenobi or something. So Luke is on his land speeder, having to look for him. But first, he has to go to this blue cave over here so that he could find the blaster that will replace his dinky blaster that only shoots once per screen. This is sort of a primer for the rest of the game, just getting you used to the controls. A to jump, B to shoot. If you hold B down, you could run, and that will give you a farther leap. And there's the blaster right there. And let's watch that. That's a much better blaster. You could try going through the game without the blaster, but I usually don't. I like to be able to shoot more than one shot at a time. So anyways, land speeder is pretty easy to control. You move up to move up, down to move down, pretty self-explanatory. And I don't know why the nerd has problems controlling the land speeder. It's pretty simple stuff, but I'll get to that later on. So we're in the Sandcrawler, where R2-D2 has apparently decided he'd rather be in the Sandcrawler than anywhere else. I don't know why. Looks like a pretty dismal place if you ask me, with all these ladders and stuff. Not droid friendly, or not astromech friendly anyways. So anyways, here we are killing Jawas. Because why not? It's a time-honored tradition, and you have these shafts that propel you upwards. Here's another thing that'll propel you upwards. If you're running on a conveyor and you jump, whee! Airtime. Really nice stuff, really nice stuff. It's a pretty self-explanatory. There's a bit of a maze component here, but when you know what you're doing, you know where to go. It's not that hard. You want to avoid those smashing things. They'll do heavy damage. And I took a risk by doing that, but I think I was right for the most part. So another run, another propelling into the air. Once you make use of that running ability, that propels you in the air, and there's your, oh crap. Ah shit. Ah shit. Shit, and yeah, it's been a while. Wow, I'm really into it's been a while, so it's been years since I last played this, and also it's been about a month since I last saw this playthrough, so it's like I'm playing this for the first time, so to speak, or let's pretend. But yeah, I almost never missed that jump. That's like a first time for everything, I suppose. Even when I was a kid, I never missed that jump. But I guess I'm an idiot. Anyways, so we're going through this. We're going through this. We all know the drill. Yeah. If you go on the other side and you're willing to risk it, there's a health power-up. But I almost never go for it, other than to see once or twice, just out of curiosity to see what's there. But anyways, we'll go to that, And let's try not miss it this time. There we go. R2. R2 says he's the property of a General Kenobi. Don't remember owning a droid before. Very interesting. So now we look for General Kenobi, who's a lot harder to find because he lives in a cave. And as you can probably tell, there's a lot of caves. So yeah, there's a probe droid. Some people might complain about the presence of a probe droid in Star Wars, but I don't think there's a problem with it. I mean, the game's in 1991, you know, and the movies came out like about a decade prior. So I don't see a problem with them putting in probe droids in a Star Wars-based game, you know, especially since, you know, there's nothing to indicate that they didn't have probe droids in the day. But, whatever. So anyways, you're in this cave, you're shooting rats. Obi-Wan's not in here, but there is something equally vital to your mission, especially later on. And that's the, anyways, that was stupid. I usually just wait for the rat to just kill himself or something, but anyways, it just hop these platforms. If you touch the spikes, you don't die instantly, but it gets difficult to come out because you take many hits and your window of invincibility is rather short. So you see this little Millennium Falcon, those are your shields. And you need to collect these shields later on for when you're flying the Falcon in the asteroid field, which is a POV shot, which is rather nice. So anyways, we're going past all the banthas. This is the cave where Obi-Wan is. And out of all the different items to find throughout the game, finding Obi-Wan was the biggest pain in the ass because you don't know where to look. Logically, it would make sense to find him where the Sand People are, the Tusken Raiders. But this obviously isn't the case. You just gotta go through this blue cave, and you pick up these orb power-ups. That was completely useless because I keep taking hits. Anyways, here's a little secret here that you can actually go to. You see that wall there? You could actually go through it. Mind the big guy who will shoot you with a nice spread shot. And there you go, you get 2 extra lives. You could either risk to drop downwards, or you could just continue on your way, like normal. I usually continue on my way like normal because I don't like taking risks, especially with this game. A nasty fall will kill you pretty much if you're not careful, and if you don't have enough health. So anyways, this is where you find Obi-Wan. You jump these platforms, and if you go for a run, you don't even have to fight the bugs. I have something for you. Oh, you dirty bed. No, he gives you your lightsaber. Interesting thing, he gives you the lightsaber, but he doesn't come with you if you don't have R2. So if you don't have R2 and you find Obi-Wan first, he'll give you the lightsaber, but he'll pretty much tell you to fuck off afterwards. Or he won't say anything, he'll just give you the lightsaber and that's it. You know, and this kind of confused me at first. They did a nice job with the cutscenes, by the way. You know, Alec Guinness's face looks kind of weird there. It's kind of flat looking. It's not, obviously, NES, can't expect much. Anyways, I'm going back here, presumably to get some extra lives. Because you could go back to the same cave over and over. And the items will respawn. The only thing that won't respawn are the specials that you'll pick up, like R2 or anything like that. But anyways. And we're going to go through this, get my couple extra lives. You could get up to a maximum of 7 lives. Or 7 Lukes, as they call it, because only Luke could get extra lives. More on that later. So anyways, we're going to navigate through this. You're going to navigate through this big guy. And, take prudence. You have to try and be careful when you collide into certain enemies, because they'll do massive damage. Touching a stormtrooper, for example, could kill you. A couple taps from a stormtrooper will probably kill you. Anyways, I don't need the orb, so I'm not gonna get it. There's a big guy to bit him. But if you like really shoot him, or you could go for a lightsaber stab, I guess. Anyways, so we're exploring the cave. Like I said, run into a cannon. Why not? Back to the cave here. So we're gonna get. I'm going to show you most of the other caves too, just to give this commentary some variety. But yeah. Anyways, you fight these rats. They come out of these rock covers, and I'm here because I want to get another shield, pretty much. Because the more shields you collect, like each Falcon that you pick up, each Millennium Falcon toy you pick up, it gives you one shield for your Falcon. And the more shields you pick up, the more better chances you have of surviving the asteroid field later on. Spoiler alert. Which, again, we'll get to. Probably not this part, part 2, maybe. As I waited for this rat to commit suicide, there you go. Die. Which is always a funny sight. So we're gonna go here, we're gonna go there, jump, 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 lots of jumping, lots of jumping. There's lots of jumping here. And especially in the later levels where the jumping is really, really a major thing. There's one level in particular that we're gonna get to towards the end of the game, mind you. So yeah, again, land speeder's kind of easy to control. It's just point a direction, you'll go in that direction. If you hold down the B button, you'll get a bit of a thrust, which is always fun stuff. So anyways, we're in this green cave with these slugs, and a bit of a confusing mess here. Start, pauses, select, goes to your select screen, which kind of makes sense. So here I got the lightsaber. The lightsaber is pretty much the most powerful weapon in-game, bar none. And I am missing everything with this thing. Yeah, fuck the lightsaber. Just shoot him. Lightsaber is pretty much almost anything that the lightsaber touches dies instantly, which is something you don't get with the later games. Later games, like even Star Wars, Super Star Wars, it'll take a few hits when logically, you know, the lightsaber could cut through anything that it touches. So you got that, and more slugs. I think, there's nothing there on the other side anyways. And just jumping there, slugs, get another power up. And that's one cave, go back to that other cave, because fighting slugs are easier than rats, I guess. You go to these different caves, yeah, another shield there. So I got 2 shields, I'm probably going to get 2 shields per. There's one cave that has 2 shields, but it's pretty much like an endurance round of all the different enemies that you fought. So, at least up to in all the caves, anyways. It's pretty much, you know, you have to eat different caves of different colors. You know, there's a red cave where all the Tusken Raiders are, or the Sand People, you know, or whatever. Anyways, I want to kill this slug. Maybe you should just leave him alone. There you go. Killed. So you got different slugs, you got these different enemies, these different caves that you can go around, you just kill them. And I really like, okay, that's the most likely cantina, we're not gonna go there. And we're gonna take a hit from this Bantha Poodoo. And as I'm looking for the cave, I think I'm looking for the cave with the Sand People. And I'm getting raped by this probe droid. But yeah, like, I don't get why it's so confusing, these controls, nerd. Why do you find these controls confusing? For something, I'm getting raped by probe droids. Why the probe droids in Star Wars? Because the Empire had them, it makes sense. Right, I'm going to the purple cave. Okay, so I'm going to go to the purple cave, the so-called endurance round, where they feature almost every enemy in all the other caves, including these balls of rocks that like to bounce down the things. And it was a pretty standard level. It's pretty much the hardest level of the game, but the reward is mostly worth it if you're willing to endure it, and if you're not, well, I'm getting killed! So go there, there's flying things, no, there's acid. Yeah, it's like I said, it's been a while. But there are flying things, there are rats, there are the space slugs of death. And I'm sort of shooting just to see, yeah, space slugs. Space slugs that don't want to fucking die. Die already? Crap, thank you. Yeah, you'll notice I'm using the blaster a lot, because the blaster has more range, even though the lightsaber is pretty much the most powerful weapon in the game. The blaster has more range, and I like keeping my distance, which I'm not doing a good job of, by the way. Yes, I'm going this way. It's been a while, like I said. And shit, I'm dead. Yeah, you're gonna have to be careful with a lot of the bigger enemies, cause if they touch you and you don't have enough energy, you pretty much are fucking dead. So be careful with that one. Like I said, this is a bit of an endurance round. And again, if you always want to get... Okay, so... Yeah, so I'm gonna take my lightsaber. No, fuck it. Obviously, if you fall at too great a height, you take damage, which I kind of find stupid at times, but it sort of makes sense, I guess. You know, especially later on, because there's no true pits in this game. So if you didn't have that handicap, or you didn't have that penalty implemented, and you fell down this one particular pit, your game was ostensibly over, because you couldn't do anything. So anyways, lightsaber. See, look at that. Anyways, go back to the blaster. I like the lightsaber. It's good for like killing like powerful enemies in one stroke. But sometimes I just want to keep my distance, and for a lot of these enemies, you know, I'd much rather use a blaster. So I'm gonna make these little hops, go down, and rapid fire will always work. Anyways, go down here, go down here. You gotta be careful because you got these, you got sand person. Okay, oh wait, not here, not here. Oh, another passage here. Just keeping my distance so I know. It's another one of these robot things. So and they're gone. Wow, okay. Oh, there he is. You gotta be careful. Sometimes they could shoot off screen. Anyways. Running start so I could get on that top platform rather than the bottom. So keep moving, keep going, keep going. Another running jump. The running jumps are particular headache at times. Another one of these. That's what they do. Is they shoot a tri-shot from their chest, and they will, and shots will do like heavy damage. So it's not. Anyways, you got in person, got run out, because they can kill you in about a couple of hits. So don't mock the sand people. And this is the big endurance, the big everything. This is what makes everything so worth it. Dead. Narrowly missed that. Go behind him, stupid. There you go. That wasn't so hard, was it? All that for 2 shields, which, depending on your point of view, might be worth it or might not be worth it. I personally think it is worth it, because, you know, every chance it helps with that asteroid field. And I'm trying to make that run. I don't know why, just, okay. Alright, for health bow. I really need it, but no, okay. You know, just to say I got it. Okay, so, yeah, nice little blaster turret there. And, just gonna go over again, try to I want to see if I can find that other cave, I guess, with the sand people. Which I think this is the... Is this the one? Yeah, that's the one. There's one sand person here. And you gotta be careful, because they rush at you. If you're close enough, they rush at you. They don't jump off the platform. They sort of like, as soon as they reach the edge, they'll jump back. Which is probably the only saving grace, and, you know, but they're really... You just keep shooting. Like, I could probably just slice these guys down with a lightsaber, but I usually don't take the risk. Because lightsaber, as powerful it may be, it's got shit range. And you can't really do a whole lot of cool lightsaber, cool Jedi stuff, I guess. Not yet. That's for the next game. Anyways. Dead. If I go here, there's a shield, right? Probably another sand person, right? Yeah, there is. You gotta do a lot of this when you're fighting sand people. When you're fighting Tusken Raiders, you do a lot of that. There's another shield. Go there, that way, keep shooting. Good boy. I think colliding with a Tusken Raider will drain your entire life bar. And despite, and that doesn't necessarily mean a one-hit kill. Even if you have an empty life bar, in certain rare cases, if you have an empty life bar, you could still take one more hit before you meet your maker, so to speak. So I got everything I need. So we're gonna go to the Mos Eisley. I kind of like this jingle. Now this is where we whip out the lightsaber, people. This is where we whip out some pain in the cantina, which is apparently a lot more high-end here than it is in the movies. Really high-end cantina. Yeah, those purple guys that shoot the huge-ass laser beam, you cannot kill them. You could shoot as many times as you want, you cannot kill them. And if you try to kill them with the lightsaber, you just bounce back. You see, that's a fairly nice rendition of good old Han, who, as you will see, you could tell this game was made in 1991, or at least before 1997, because Han shoots first. And let's not bring that up anymore. Yeah, so yeah, those purple guys are pretty much powerful, easy to kill, and stuff. And, the music sort of like stalls after each blaster for some reason. Anyways, Han has, being a badass, Han has a really powerful blaster. But, the stormtroopers in this game are no joke. Their armor actually does withstand some hits. And, yeah. Really like that. The music stalls each time you shoot. So now we're gonna switch to Luke. I switch to the lightsaber because Boba Fett's a pain in the ass. And before anybody says it is Boba Fett, it says so in the manual. I'll show it to you later on. Much later on. So basically what happens, if you shoot him, if you were to shoot Boba, he flies around and he drops these projectiles at you, and he gets to be a real pain in the ass. So, and even these little, like, arcing shots tend to be a piss off to avoid, especially in that narrow space. So yeah, Jawa gets a jump on me, that's always a fun time. Killed Boba, see you later. That, some people would say that, it can't be Boba Fett, there's more than one of them, but, after Attack of the Clones, it sort of makes sense, doesn't it? I guess you could say, it's Django. I guess, if you time it right, you could kill the Stormtrooper without ever having to meet him up later. Which is like, that's... Anyways, I'm gonna climb up here, and, switch to the blaster so I can keep my goddamn distance, even though... Anyways, this is a particularly risky jump here, and I made it. Amazing. Rocking Bay 94, nice. Killed. And you got these stormtroopers. Some stormtroopers will stand around, some of them will like move back and forth. And then you got all these different ships here. Did a nice job with the hangar though. He almost fell. Now you gotta watch out for these gun implementations. Guess they'll shoot out these massive beams and you can't kill them. And if you try to swing a lightsaber at them, you'll just bounce back. Anyways, the game has its has its tough moments there. Whee! Yeah. I thought it might have been a shield there. I don't know, it's probably one up there. Okay, screw it. Yeah, maybe you should just stop. I almost had it. Okay, so fuck it. Sorry. It's a catchy tune. I gotta, It's not exactly same as the movie though, and I died. Serves me right. No, it's not exactly movie accurate, but it's close enough, and stuff. I missed these old remixed jingles, though. I think by the time we got to the CD era, the PlayStation era, the era where we could just sort of like loop the John Williams classic, the soundtrack, as classic it may be, you know, eventually after a while I get tired of hearing the same renditions over and over again. And it's not a slight, it's just, you know, give me a game that plays. Even that, I can't. Wow. Anyways. I guess I needed more of a running jump. Anyways, do I get that? Yeah. I think I got. Yeah. 8. You could get a maximum of 8 shields. And, I forgot to grab onto the ladder. Genius. So now we got the, avoid these, avoid these, avoid these, avoid these, avoid these. Bad. It looks much more impressive on the actual console that does here, because you're missing a string, because it would look continuous. It would look like a continuous beam of energy, whereas here it's sort of like chopped off because of the missing frames. So yeah, this is what you needed the shields for. Basically, you're flying the Millennium Falcon and you have to avoid all the asteroids, which obviously look like frozen turds. Whatever. Anyways. So the reason you had to pick up the shields is that that meter on the top, those are your shields. If you didn't pick up any shields, that would be empty and one hit would kill you, which would be a good challenge for some people. For others, like me, you know, I'd rather be on the safe side. But I think I've gotten to a point, used to get to a point at times where I wouldn't need all 8 shields. But the more shields you have, you know, the more of a chance you have at survival, I guess, especially when you make a lot of shitty mistakes. So, anyways, I'm just gliding through. That's all it is. You're just flying through this, you're flying through this asteroid field, what remains of Alderaan, because you don't get to see that awesome scene where... This is something that was missing from Super Star Wars, actually. You know, I kind of wish they had that little sequence in there. Instead, they just pull you straight from the hangar fight to the Death Star, so... Anyway, so I made it through the asteroid field, and watch this little sequence here. We're flying into the Death Star. We're not being brought in by a tractor beam. We're flying into it, because that makes a whole lot of sense. So yeah, we're in the Death Star, which has a decidedly purplish decor. It's a really cool shot here. You get to see the TIE fighters and all that jazz. You get to see the Imperial shuttle, which some fanboys would probably complain, that wasn't in Star Wars, it was in Jedi, or... Which is pretty much a mute point, because, you know, again, like the probe droids, what's to say they didn't have the shuttles already? You know, especially with games like X-Wing, you know, on the PC, where they put in goddamn A-Wings in there, and that whole game takes place before and during Star Wars, or A New Hope to the newer kids. Look, when this game came out, we still called it Star Wars, and even when it was re-released as a special edition, it was still called Star Wars. Therefore, I'm going to refer to it as Star Wars because, hell, why not? And hey, what's this? It's a scanning room that is kicking my ass thanks to the missiles, and I'm dead. This was a whole lot easier in the movie. That much is for sure. Well, you don't run into the guy, you damn idiot. Anyways, you kill everybody, and basically, you get this little cutscene from the movie with the floating heads. Anyways, yeah, basically what this does is that it gives you a map of all the elevator shafts and all that. So nerd, wouldn't it be nice to have a map? Well, what's this? What's this, Jimmy? It's a map! And it tells you all the places you need to go. So, yeah. Look at that map. That tells you everything you need to know. All the red dots are exits, and all the green dots are your elevator shafts. And though you can't see it really well, you know, you see what things, which shafts connect to what. Anyways, by the way, I think it's that jump. If you miss that jump, it's a long way down and you will die. If you didn't have that penalty, like I said before, your game was ostensibly over and you had to reset, because there was no way you would climb out of that cave unless they were to add a bit of spikes there, but anyways. So anyways, we're gonna navigate through this cave, and I honestly was expecting to take a hit. So we're gonna navigate through this. And we take Han Solo because he's a badass with his badass blaster, and there's quite a bit of platforming to be done here. And we shoot this fucker down. Sorry. And it's such a badass that, you know, he's posing with his gun as he's riding up the elevator. There's nothing here. Anyways, another complaint that he has is that apparently one of the elevators you can only find by making a drop down. Which, a load of crap. Ooh, narrowly missed that missile. Narrowly missed that missile. That's a particularly hefty one. If you take a drop, you know, if you take a hit there, then that's really gonna... Anyways. So we're in the tractor beam room, and basically it's a pretty... You just shoot the thing, and it blows up like that. And there you go, no tractor beam. Now you have to save the princess, and of course you have another map. As you're gonna see here. See, that's a nice little map. It's a little more complicated. All the red dots are your prison cells. Since you're obviously looking for Leia right now, and you want to get Leia, by the way. So, because she has some really nice jumping, which is suitable for a later level. Anyways, I'm going to be I'm going to be looking through the map quite often, quite a bit. But yeah, Jimmy, this is a map. You know what a map is, right? You would have to, because apparently, anyways. Okay, I'm gonna stave off the I'm gonna stave off knocking poor Jimmy. He's supposed to be playing stupid when it comes to those videos, but then again, you know, some of the complaints in his little Star Wars segment almost come off as irate gamer like. I'm sorry to say, but anyways. So anyways, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Yeah, okay, right. I'm looking for Leia, and I'm going through the maps because it's been a while. All right, so I don't know where I'm supposed to go at this point. And dead. Okay, it's empty, and I'm dead. That's what I get. Yeah, so that's pretty much all you're doing, and that's your map. Yeah, I'm gonna be frequently through the map because it's been a while since I last played this, and I know for sure. I know that Leia's in one of the two chambers in the bottom right of the. So in any case, just stick with Luke here, because Luke's the only one that could die multiple times. If you kill off Han or Leia for some reason. You only have one shot with them, and then they sort of go away. And nice, I'm almost dead. Get that. Now to be careful with that. That's impervious to pain, impervious to anything, quite frankly. And see if we can make it anywhere. It's a long drop. It's a pretty long drop. I don't think we want to do that. We don't want to do that, do we? Do we? Please tell me you're not going to jump. Yeah, I'm sure it's just stalling here, I guess. Because I'm trying to figure out where the hell am I supposed to go? Where the hell am I supposed to go? And, you're gonna drop. Yeah, it's not advisable that you would drop down to the ground, but, you know, for the sake of it, why not? And, make a running jump, I guess? No, not. It's not advisable to, like, just do a straight drop down, but, anyways, I'm just sort of, like... Yeah, anyways, so I'm gonna go down, and there you go. And there you go, Princess Leia. And even Leia's blaster is better than Luke's, but she has slightly better jumping than Luke. Or Han for that matter. Grab that. And yeah, so right at this point, if you've rescued everybody and you've got all the maps and all that, you're guaranteed to get 100% for the rest of the game. Completion, which I guess I'll take time to explain. Whenever you get a game over, you get a percentage. You get shown a percentage of how much of the game you've completed, and this is your scoring essentially. You know, whatever you come across, whatever you find, whenever you get across a major item or anything, whether you find R2 or whether you find Obi-Wan or whoever, this adds to your completion. You could try to go for 100% if you want, but sometimes, you know, if you decide to go for a lesser challenge or something. Anyways. So here's Leia. She has slightly better jumping. She has a slightly better blaster. And I've got no clue where I'm going. Do I? No, not at all. So yeah. If this was live commentary, this is what it'd be like actually. Lots of long, awkward pauses and stuff. And I'm going with Leia. Why exactly? I'm trying to figure this out though. Okay, yeah. So this is where I'm going. Ideally, I want to get myself killed. Wait, no, go get Luke. There you go, Luke. Because he's the hero of our story for some reason. Anyways, go down here. Sorry. Yeah, I miss these old games that have these funky soundtracks. Now they just take the soundtrack from the movie, and they somehow made the movie soundtrack boring. I think that's like a scout walk. That's like a scout trooper or something, because he's more agile and nimble. And you got this red thing, that thing, yeah. And there we go. We exit that, and no more map. Now this is a kind of a level you gotta be really, you know, lots of spikes. Well, not a whole lot of spikes, but there are a lot of enemies that are impervious to attack, like that wobbling can over there. And there's a lot of jumping here you gotta do. A lot of these chance jumps you gotta make. And yeah, any enemy that has like that kind of blaster is impervious to pain. Invulnerable, as they like to call it in the trade. It's funny that I didn't know the Death Star was partly built on spare Sandcrawler parts. I guess the Empire was pretty cheap in this universe. Be careful here, get the orb, because it's always good to have like as much health as possible, especially for a stage like this. There's a lot of jumping, a lot of chance jumping, a lot of conveyor jumping that will propel you in the air, and I could have made it in one shot, but I didn't want to risk it. This is a particularly nasty jump. That's based on Lady Chance, and yeah. I'd say I'd rather take the hit than, you know, sort of miss the jump and land into the spikes and get killed. You got the nice little smashing things that, if you're smart, you won't run into. You got the droid boxes. Kill, you know, jump over them. Fly through this onto the conveyor, and the last stretch. You know, I guess, you know, if you were skillful enough, you could probably just glide that whole section over. Run, get into it. Come on. No, I'm just sort of stalling there. Anyways, I'm trying to clear my thumbs, I guess. What incredible smell you discovered! Let's get out of here. Nice. Anyways, if you have the lightsaber, the Dodonga is pretty much the easiest boss in the game. Dead. Yeah, that was kind of easy. We had an easier time here than we did. You know, if they had closed in the walls, as well as bringing up the acid level up, that would have made the game, that would have made the fight somewhat a little more challenging. But probably would have veered on impossible. So anyways, here's the level from hell, as Film and Stuff like to call it, and it's earned its name, as it's cost me many lives, and yet I was fortunate enough to So yeah, this is where Leia comes into play. You know, especially with that one jump, because you know, if you were to make that run with Luke, you might possibly make it, but otherwise you'd probably just land on the ground and take damage. And you could ill afford to take damage in this, you know, in this stage all throughout, because it is part of it's based on luck and part of it's based on you know, knowing what the fuck you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you know, it's all about proper timing and shit like that. I'm sort of like gliding here, you know, trying not to kill myself or anything. Anyways, that's a blaster, and that's might as well take down. So like I've been saying, you'll notice that I've been touching Obi-Wan all that much. I've been touching 3PO, who pretty much says the same thing over and over. I've been touching R2, whose main use has mainly been just to show maps and stuff like that. Obi-Wan brings back Han and Leia whenever they bite the bucket, because because if they die, you know, you lose them. But Obi-Wan could like resurrect them for at least I think 6 times, so it makes it easier, I guess. And yeah, that's pretty much. I haven't been using them because I didn't really need to use them. And gotta be careful here. Gotta be careful here. Gotta be careful here. I don't think there's no health here, by the way. At all. How did I not die from that? Is just take Han. It's a home stretch anyways, it's like you can see in the top. The Falcon's just right above you. Yeah, this robot thing, this massive droid walker thing with fucking missiles. And you got an extra life to tease you, which I'm probably gonna take, and that is that. The level from hell has been conquered! Yeah! Yeah, that was kind of fun. So now the rest of the game, you're just flying in the ship thing and stuff. Nice little shaking. So yeah, basically now you're not moving the ship, but you are controlling the turrets with the little crosshairs thing. You gotta shoot down ties for indeterminate amount of time. I don't know if you have to kill certain ties or, you know, TIE fighters. That's what they're called. They're called TIE fighters. You know, don't ask. Anyways. So yeah, you shoot down these TIE fighters, they'll shoot green balls. You shoot the green balls so that they hit your ship. You know, like so. And this is where you gotta really be careful, because the game gives you 10 continues. But you don't have lives during these segments, like when you're flying the asteroid, and when you're flying, you know, when you're in the turret, and you know, especially when you're flying the X-wing in the before the Death Star trench run, you have 1 life, and you know, if you blow it, you get a game over. You have 10 continues. You have 10 continues for that reason more than anything. And yeah, there's not really much to say. Just TIE fighters just fly by, and they just, you know, they shoot their green balls at you, and you sort of hold them up. They're supposed to be projectiles. They're supposed to be like lasers, but you know, because you shoot red balls at them, they shoot green balls at you. And yeah. Film and stuff says that if you get the shields from Tatooine, that the shields were mostly for these segments. It's only for the asteroid field. If you don't have any shields, if you picked up only a few shields, you'll still start with full shields, you know, in this Death Star run. So I don't think it really matters. You know, after a while you start to get you know, a feel for the patterns that they use. You know, where the ties will fly around, and you sort of position your crosshairs to a point where, yeah. Not really much to say here. It's not much left. And that's it. That's the end of the level. We're flying into Yavin 4, or is it a tractor beam? Who knows? Luke's already suited up, and he's going into his X-wing with R2. and now you see a whole bunch of X-Wings flying to face off against the Death Star, and as per video game tradition, you're the only ship that they're going after. Which is always fun as a lark, I guess. So now this is really a little more advanced now than the other ones. In addition to shooting TIE fighters down, you also have to move your ship around with a little bit of maneuverability. They did a fair enough job with this. It's a pretty simple stuff. Sorry. Anyway. Anyways, I'm just gonna sip some coffee here. Oh, come on, I'm not even playing a damn thing, I'm just, it's a DVD rip, for Christ's sake. So it's much like the other shooter level that we just saw before, but the gun turret. You're just flying an X-Wing around, you shoot down TIEs, you shoot down green balls, try to avoid them all. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Sometimes R2 will chime in and restore a shield point back up when you're really near death. That's assuming you did get R2, because you don't have to get R2. You could go through the game without picking up anybody for that matter, and you still get, because that's the thing with Star Wars, is that you could go back and you could skip out on certain things, and it doesn't really matter. You don't have to collect anything. You could skip out. Hell, when I first got this and I went through everything, I had a hard time finding Obi-Wan, so I just said, fuck Obi-Wan, just go to the Death Star without Obi-Wan. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Worst that could happen is that I don't get 100%. Yeah. Again, who cares? So, I don't know what the bare minimum is to. I don't recall the bare minimum of completion, like the minimum amount that you could get while completing the game. I'm guessing it's just a matter of going through the game. And anyways, I'm getting my ass kicked here at this point. R2 will be working to restore a shield. Or maybe not, but because we're done with this round. So now we're going to the trench run. And the trench run is the trench run's a bit of a piss off at times. So you gotta be careful with the trench run, because the TIE fighters will sneak up on you, and you also gotta avoid all this shit and die. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this isn't gonna be pretty, is it? Okay, so yeah, I just generally, one button shoots protons, the other shoots lasers. Obviously, the whole idea is to survive this trench and land a torpedo into the exhaust port. If you miss the exhaust port, it's okay. You just gotta redo the whole level all over again. It's one of those looping trenches, Anyways, I'm sort of just shooting like a madman, because why not? Because that'll happen. So anyways, here's my last life, and would be nice if I could go through this without having to use up a continue. You go with protons, but you could shoot as many protons as you want. It doesn't really matter. You have an infinite amount of proton torpedoes. It really doesn't matter. And now all of a sudden I'm flying like a fucking ace X-wing pilot. The force is with me, that sort of thing. And there you go. The most unspectacular Death Star explosion ever. And I mean ever. And you guys, this is the last closing ceremony. And whoever survives the end of this campaign is honored. So if you went through this game with only Luke will be up there. And by the way, Luke is guaranteed to be there because he's the only character you could actually consistently play as. Whereas the other two could either croak or not be saved at all. So if you didn't save Leia and you blew up the Death Star, congratulations. You killed a rebel leader. I hope you're happy. So that was pretty much Star Wars, and probably didn't tell you a whole lot, but honestly, this is actually not that bad of a game. It's pretty good. Yeah. Nice completion. Nice 100%. 100% once you know where everything is not that hard to attain. Sometimes the challenge is not getting 100% and going through it with far less. But anyways. Yeah, I don't recall what the bare minimum is. Probably like 50 something, excuse me. But anyways, I'm gonna close it here. And yeah, overall, this isn't such a bad game actually. I mean, it takes certain liberties, sure, but you know, what video game doesn't take liberties to make it interesting and whatnot? I like the tattooing part, which was mostly free roaming. For the most part, you could do, you know, go to these different caves and you know, collect items and recruit people. You know, like, you know, you could get R2 or you just leave him in the Sandcrawler. You could find Obi-Wan or just leave him the Rot, I guess, like a forgotten Jedi memory. You could meet up with Han Solo at the cantina, or you could say screw him, just go straight to the Falcon and Chewie will fly the ship. Because Chewie has nothing better to do, so, you know, if you leave Han behind, then Chewie will fly the ship and, you know, all that stuff. But, yeah.
Yeah, so this is my box of instruction manuals. This is Star Wars instruction manual. And I will attempt to do this. And this pretty much tells you everything you need to know, and it has nice little pictures and all that. But this is the part that I want to show you. Ah, here we are. You read that? Boba Fett. Not a generic bounty hunter, not Mandalorian armor hunter thing, not Jodo Cast or whatever that other guy was. It's Boba Fett. Which means there were, not only does this, you know, it affects the special editions actually, because Boba Fett was in the Star Wars Special Edition in '97, and there's more of one of them, which explains Attack of the Clones. The power of the NES influences later editorial changes in later editions. Till next time, and yes, I am wearing a robe.
So yeah, so till next time, take care, and yeah.